From setback to comeback, redefining success in the face of adversity. Welcome to the BlackCEO Podcast, where we dive deep into the stories that challenge our perceptions and inspire us to reach new heights. Today, we're in for a treat that's going to flip your world upside down in the best way possible. We had the incredible privilege of sitting down with Demetra Sherer, a visionary entrepreneur whose journey is nothing short of extraordinary. Demetra isn't just a businesswoman. She's a force of nature, a beacon of resilience, and a living testament to the power of redefining success. Her story isn't just inspiring, it's revolutionary. So buckle up, folks. We're about to embark on a roller coaster ride that'll make you laugh, maybe cry, and definitely rethink everything you thought you knew about success, failure, and the beautiful mess we call entrepreneurship. Now, picture this. You're standing in front of a gleaming new restaurant. The air is buzzing with excitement. Champagne corks are popping, and the who's who of the community are all gathered to celebrate the grand opening of the only Black-owned upscale eatery in town. Sounds like a dream come true, right? Well, for Demetra Sherer, it was. But hold on to your hats, because this story is about to take more twists and turns than a pretzel factory on steroids. Demetra's restaurant wasn't just a business. It was a love letter to her community. A space where culture was celebrated, where live entertainment set the mood, and where every carefully curated experience was designed to make people feel like they belonged. When those doors first swung open, the response was nothing short of electric. People were practically tripping over themselves to get in, exclaiming how they'd been dying for a place that truly reflected their culture. Demetra was on cloud nine, feeling like she just won the lottery and the Nobel Peace Prize rolled into one. But here's where things get interesting, folks. And by interesting, I mean the kind of interesting that makes you want to grab a bucket of popcorn and settle in for a wild ride. Despite the initial fanfare, despite the community's apparent hunger for exactly what Demetra was serving up, keeping the restaurant afloat became harder than trying to eat soup with a fork. The same folks who had been cheering from the rooftops at the grand opening. Well, let's just say their enthusiasm didn't quite translate into consistent patronage. After a year and a half of pouring her heart, soul, and probably a few tears into this dream, Demetra had to make a decision that would break the heart of any entrepreneur. She had to close the doors. Now, I want you to imagine that for a second. Imagine creating something you love so much, something you believe in with every fiber of your being, and then having to let it go. It's like raising a child only to have them move to Antarctica to study penguins. You're proud, but man, does it hurt. At this point in our story, most people would cue the sad violins and roll the credits. Game over, thanks for playing, better luck next time. But Demetra, she looked at this seeming catastrophe and saw something entirely different. Where others saw failure, she saw a stepping stone. Where others saw an ending, she saw a new beginning. And that, my friends, is where our real story begins. Now, let's take a moment to address the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the elephant that's conspicuously absent from many rooms. I'm talking about the challenges faced by Black-owned businesses across this great nation of ours. Demetra's experience isn't just a personal anecdote, it's a reflection of a larger systemic issue that's about as comfortable to discuss as a hedgehog in your underwear. But discuss it we must, because ignoring it is about as effective as using a sieve to bail out the Titanic. Let me paint you a picture that'll make Demetra's story hit home even harder. Picture Baltimore, a city where the majority of residents are African American. You think Black-owned restaurants would be thriving there, right? Well, hold on to your forks, because here comes a twist that'll make your head spin faster than a salad spinner on overdrive. Enter Chef Casey Jenkins, a culinary maestro who looked at the struggling Black-owned restaurant scene in Baltimore and said, "Oh, hell no, we're not having this." Jenkins didn't just shake his head and go back to chopping onions. No, sir. He rolled up his sleeves and cooked up something far more potent than any dish. He created the Black Restaurant Challenge. Now, you might be thinking, a challenge? What is this? A reality TV show? But hold your horses, because this challenge was about to serve up a heaping plate of change with the side of community empowerment. The concept was simple yet powerful. Encourage diners to support African American-owned restaurants in the city. It was like a culinary treasure hunt, except instead of finding gold, people were discovering flavor-packed, culture-rich dining experiences that had been right under their noses all along. Jenkins and his team didn't just sit back and hope for the best. They leveraged social media like it was the secret ingredient in a world-class recipe. They promoted these restaurants with the fervor of a town crier who'd had one too many espressos. And the restaurants themselves, They stepped up to the plate, pun absolutely intended, with specials and discounts that were more tempting than a chocolate fountain at a weight loss convention. The result? A surge of support that was more refreshing than a cold drink on a hot summer day. Visibility for these businesses shot through the roof faster than a champagne cork at a New Year's party. People who had never set foot in these establishments were suddenly becoming regulars, raving about dishes they couldn't pronounce but couldn't get enough of. But here's the kicker, folks. This challenge didn't just fill tables and cash registers. It filled something far more valuable. It filled a gap in the community. It created connections, sparked conversations, and served up a big old slice of cultural pride alongside those mouth-watering meals. It was proof positive that when a community comes together to support its own, magic happens. And not the rabbit out of a hat kind of magic, but the kind that changes lives and reshapes neighborhoods. Now, let's hop on our metaphorical food truck and drive across the country to Multnomah County, where the situation for Black-owned restaurants is spicier than a ghost pepper eating contest. And by spicy, I mean challenging in ways that would make even the toughest chef hang up their apron. In Multnomah County, Black-owned restaurants aren't just facing your garden variety business hurdles. Oh no, they're up against a Goliath-sized combo of funding disparities and a lack of representation in policymaking that's about as fair as a rigged carnival game. It's like they're trying to run a marathon while carrying a grand piano on their backs, uphill in the snow both ways. The post-pandemic landscape has only cranked up the heat, turning an already tough situation into something that would make even the most optimistic entrepreneur want to curl up in the fetal position with a pint of ice cream. But here's where it gets interesting, folks. In the face of these Herculean challenges, we see the rise of modern-day heroes, organizations like Micro Enterprise Services of Oregon, or MESO. MESO looked at this financial Grand Canyon and said, we're going to build a bridge. They're not just offering a hand, they're offering a whole darn construction crew to help these businesses cross the chasm of financial disparity. But even these Cape Crusaders of the business world are facing their own kryptonite understaffing. It's like trying to bail out the ocean with a teaspoon. The spirit is willing, but the resources are spread thinner than butter on toast at a budget breakfast buffet. This situation in Multnomah County isn't just a problem, it's a wake-up call louder than a rooster with a megaphone. It's screaming at us that equitable support and representation aren't just nice-to-haves. They're as essential as salt in a kitchen. Without them, the whole system is about as balanced as a one-legged elephant on a tightrope. But wait, before you start thinking this is all doom and gloom, let me whisk you away to the Windy City, where a story is unfolding that's more uplifting than a helium balloon at a birthday party. Enter Can't Believe It's Not Meat, a Black-owned vegan restaurant in Chicago that's serving up success with a side of innovation. Now, opening a vegan restaurant is already a bold move. It's like deciding to sell ice to Eskimos. You gotta have some serious moxie. But opening a Black-owned vegan restaurant, that's like deciding to tap dance on a tightrope while juggling flaming torches. It's audacious, it's daring, and by golly, it's working. The folks that Can't Believe It's Not Meat looked at the competitive Chicago restaurant scene and said, challenge accepted. They didn't just open their doors and hope for the best. No, sir, they came out swinging with a 1-2 punch of community engagement and culinary innovation that's got people's taste buds doing the cha-cha. Their secret sauce, a blend of social media savvy and a menu that's more creative than a preschooler with a fresh box of crayons. They're not just serving food, they're serving experiences. They've turned their restaurant into a destination, a place where vegans and carnivores alike are flocking to see what all the fuss is about. And let me tell you, the fuss is justified. This success story is more than just a win for one restaurant. It's a beacon of hope, a shining example of what's possible when passion meets innovation meets community support. It's proof that with the right recipe of creativity, engagement, and flat-out delicious food, a Black-owned business can not only survive but thrive, even in a market that's more crowded than a subway car at rush hour. Now let's take a moment to marinate in what we've learned from these stories. We've seen challenges that would make a grown entrepreneur cry, creativity that could put Silicon Valley to shame, and resilience that's tougher than a $2 steak. But what does it all mean for you sitting there, possibly questioning every life decision you've ever made? Don't worry, that's just the side effect of listening to stories this powerful. First off, let's talk about success. We've been fed a definition of success that's about as outdated as a flip phone at a tech convention,
We've been told it's all about the bottom line, about how long you can keep your doors open, about how much money you can stuff into your mattress. But Demetra's story and the stories of countless other entrepreneurs like her tell us something different. Success isn't just about longevity or profitability, it's about impact. It's about the lives you touch, the smiles you create, the memories you help forge. Demetra's restaurant may have closed its doors, but the impact it had, the connections it fostered, the culture it celebrated, the dreams it inspired, that lives on. That, my friends, is success with a capital S. Secondly, let's chat about resilience. In a world that's as unpredictable as a game of Monopoly with a 3-year-old, resilience isn't just a nice to have, it's as essential as oxygen. Demetra didn't just face a setback, she faced what many would consider a knockout punch. But instead of staying down for the count, she got back up, dusted herself off and said, "Is that all you've got?" Resilience isn't about avoiding failure. It's about how you dance with it. It's about looking at a closed door and seeing not an end, but an invitation to find a window, or heck, to build your own darn door. It's about taking the lemons life throws at you and not just making lemonade, but opening a whole lemonade stand and franchising it across the country. Lastly, but perhaps most importantly, let's talk about community. The stories we've explored today all have one common thread running through them: the power of community support. From the Black Restaurant Challenge in Baltimore to the success of Can't Believe It's Not Meat out now in Chicago, we've seen what's possible when a community rallies behind its own. But here's the kicker. This support can't be a one-time thing. It can't be a grand opening frenzy followed by tumbleweeds blowing out through an empty restaurant. It needs to be consistent, unwavering, as reliable as your grandma's secret recipe. Because let's face it, folks, a vibrant, diverse business community doesn't just happen. It's cultivated, nurtured, supported day in and day out. So, what does this mean for you? It means you have power. Yes, you, sitting there, possibly in your pajamas, wondering how you can possibly make a difference. Well, let me tell you, you're more powerful than you know. Every time you choose where to eat, where to shop, where to spend your hard-earned dollars, you're casting a vote for the kind of world you want to live in. You're not just buying a meal or a product. You're investing in a dream, in a community, in a future where success stories like Can't Believe It's Not Meat are the norm, not the exception. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no, we're just getting started. Supporting Black-owned businesses isn't just about where you spend your money. It's about how you show up in your community. Can you spread the word about these businesses? Can you offer your skills or resources to help them overcome challenges? Can you advocate for policies that level the playing field? I can almost hear some of you thinking, but I'm just one person. What difference can I really make? Let me stop you right there. Every movement, every change, every success story starts with one person deciding to make a difference. Your support, your advocacy, your conscious choices, they matter. They add up. They create ripples that turn into waves of change. And here's the beautiful part. This isn't just about helping others. When you engage in this way, when you become an active supporter of your community's dreams and aspirations, you grow too. You expand your network, you gain new perspectives, you become part of something bigger than yourself. And isn't that what we're all looking for? A sense of purpose, a sense of belonging, a sense that we're making a real difference in the world. As we wrap up this journey through the highs and lows of entrepreneurship, through the power of community and the redefinition of success, I want to leave you with a challenge. Yes, you heard me right. I'm throwing down the gauntlet and I dare you to pick it up. Here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. And trust me, you want to accept it. For the next month, I want you to be intentional about supporting Black-owned businesses in your community. Eat at that restaurant you've been meaning to try. Shop at that boutique you've heard about. Use the services of that local professional you've been recommended. But don't stop there. Document your experiences. Share them on social media. Write reviews, spread the word. Be a walking, talking, tweeting billboard for these businesses. And as you do this, pay attention to how it changes you. Notice how it expands your world, challenges your assumptions, enriches your life. And here's the kicker. I want you to find one Black-owned business that's struggling and figure out how you can support them beyond just being a customer. Can you offer your skills? Can you connect them with resources? Can you rally your network to support them? Get creative. Get involved. Get invested. Because here's the truth, folks, that we're all in this together. Your success is my success. My growth contributes to your growth. And together we have the power to redefine what success looks like, to create a world where resilience is celebrated, where community support is the norm, and where every closed door leads to new, exciting opportunities. So what's it going to be? Are you ready to be part of this change? Are you ready to redefine success, not just for yourself, but for your community? Are you ready to turn setbacks into comebacks, challenges into opportunities, and dreams into reality? The power is in your hands. The time is now. Let's redefine success together. Let's build resilient communities together. Let's create a future where every dream has the support it needs to become reality. Remember, success isn't a destination. It's not a finish line you cross once and then you're done. It's a journey, a continuous process of growth, learning, and impact. And on this journey, every step counts, every action matters, every choice you make shapes not just your future, but the future of your community. So go forth and be the change you want to see. Be the support you wish you had. Be the success story that inspires others. Because in the end, that's what true success is all about. Not just climbing the ladder yourself, but extending a hand to help others climb with you. Thank you for joining me on this wild ride through the world of entrepreneurship, community, and redefined success. Now, it's your turn. The world is waiting for your unique contribution. Go out there and make it happen. And remember, in the game of life and business, it's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up, dust yourself off, and say, watch this comeback. Now go out there and show the world what you're made of. Your community is counting on you. Your future self is cheering for you. And somewhere out there, there's a dream waiting to be brought to life by your courage, your resilience, and your unwavering belief in the power of redefined success. Let's make some magic happen, shall we?